Do, 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 do. Hello. I showed this Colonial Viper a while ago. I think one of the first videos I released, and this was by Hot Wheels. And this is obviously the original Colonial Viper from the original Battlestar Galactica TV show. This was from 2014 San Diego Comic-Con, and Hot Wheels released a pair of Colonial Viper and Cylon Raider, both from the original show, to coincide in some kind of anniversary. And they also released this, both of them in their entertainment series, which I do want to get one day, but they're going for pretty pricey, honestly. About as expensive, if not more expensive, than these Comic-Con exclusive ones. But I thought the last one was really cool, which is what I'm showing you right now. Mostly been keeping it in a plastic Ziploc bag because the shape is so weird it doesn't really fit into. Oh, actually I'll keep it out because I'll probably do like comparisons and side by side and all that. What was I about to say? Shoot. Yeah, the basic, the standard premium release probably about more expensive than these exclusive ones, but they also came with the Cylon Raider, and I only opened the Colonial Viper last night because that one, the nose was kind of jutting out and it was damaging the paint, so I took it out before it could get damaged any further. But now I was like, might as well take out the Cylon Raider too, because, well, I think it's cool. I haven't got any new stuff for quite a bit. And it would be a nice pair, right? I collect stuff loose, not carded. I actually already filmed this bit once. I literally spent like 40 minutes just talking about me and sci-fi and Star Wars and Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica. Still a lot of stuff I forgot to talk about, like Alien or Metropolis or a lot of other stuff. But I've only seen the Ronald Moore Battlestar Galactica, the reboot, and which I really like. The last season is a bit weird. I'm not sure exactly if it's bad, but it's really, really weird. But overall, it just has some amazing characters, and I love Adama. But my favorite character is Hilo. It's been a while since I last watched her. I'm not great with names, but I love Rosalind. She's awesome. I don't always agree with the decisions her make, the choices she makes. I'm a bit more of like Star Trek person, like do whatever is right, even though it's utterly stupid, and I acknowledge that. So even though I might disagree with what Adama as well as Rosalind decide to do, I can always respect them for their choices. But I think it's really good. If you haven't seen it, you should. It's free on Amazon Prime. It's worth it. Obviously start with the mini-series and then the standard show that followed it. I haven't seen any of like the follow-up movies. I haven't seen Blood and Chrome. I haven't seen Razor or Caprica. It's like a bunch of other stuff. I haven't seen that. I've heard mixed reviews for a lot of them. Maybe I'll watch them one day probably. As for the original series, maybe I'll watch them one day, but from what I've heard, people aren't generally in love with the original series. It's kind of like a Star Wars copycat. I mean, not like Star Wars copycat as in like Turkish Star Wars, which is like visually and thematically just a total ripoff, but it was obviously trying to ride on the tail and ride upon Star Wars' popularity. It's interesting, and I do love like that era of sci-fi. I need to turn down the lights a little because it's reflecting so much chrome. That I love that era of sci-fi designs and the way they look. I love like classic Star Trek. Yeah. And the Cylon Raider, both the Cylon Raider and the Colonial Viper are really cool. You don't see a lot of paint here. You see the double pentagon here, which I don't know what that means. There's some black stripes going down here, some black plastic part. Everything that's chrome is metal, so it's pretty heavy. And on the back side, you can see Universal Studios license, if the camera would focus. Yes, 2012. Does it even say anywhere that's the Cylon Raider? No, it does not, but it does say it's made in Malaysia. It's a really cool model. I dig it, although right now I probably would like the more basic model better. And it also comes with a stand, which I had a few seconds ago that I just cannot seem to find anymore. And oh, it's basically Pentagon stand, and the top is Pentagon as well, but the bottom of this, you can see the hole was circular. It's right here, right next to the rivet, so you can pretty much freely rotate this. Doesn't really do anything, but yeah. And you can see the blue exhaust. It's really cool. The same blue exhaust you see. Well, not exactly the same. I think the Colonial Vipers. Well, no, actually they're the same color. Actually, my bad. But because of the, in the case of the Colonial Vipers, more inside. There's a bit more shadowing going on, so it looks like it's darker. But I'm pretty sure they're exact same color paint. Yeah. So I think they do look good next to each other. Not that there is that much space here. Whoopsie! I don't want any one of them to fall. And focus. It's a cool looking pair. I don't really know how to display them. So both of them will probably just end up in plastic Ziploc bags until I know what to do with them. But I'm really glad to have both of them in my collection. They're really cool, and I'm definitely interested in tracking down the two premium releases. Which it's a shame the Hot Wheels never did like more releases of Battlestar Galactica. I don't know, it's very, very niche. Will be nice for them if they ever decide to do something from the rebooted show, but that's forever and a half too. I don't know how many people that are still really interested in it. I would like to get the Battlestar Galactica, the Ronald E. Moore version. Obviously, I would have more personal attachment with, but the TOS one will be cool as well. The TOS version, if you don't know, is also heavily prominently featured in not Roger Ebert. What's his name? But it's heavily featured in the movie Space Mutiny, which was fun. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible B movie, but something, right? So I would like to get that. I also love to get the Colonial 1 because, like I said, I love Rosalind, and I think her relationship with Willem Adama is just wonderful. And the music as well. I kind of hummed the classic theme music to Battlestar Galactica when I started this video, and that piece of music specifically was used a couple of times. It's used as the Colonial anthem in episode 1, I think, right? I think it's in episode 1, and it's also heavily featured in the last episode. Without going into details of any spoilers, if you haven't seen it, I recommend you watching it. If you like Battlestar Galactica, the rebooted version is pretty much like the anti-Star Trek. I mean, a lot of Star Trek themes because, well, Ronald E. Moore started with The Next Generation. It still has a lot of ethical questions, morality questions, but it's set in such a grim, dark world. But it's about people trying to make the right choices even under these dire conditions, which is something I very, very, very much approve of. I think overall it's a great show. But I was saying, I was talking about Laura Roslin and her, Roslin and Adama. That theme, Bear McCreary is just wonderful. Obviously, that the overall theme is great. I have a special place for Roslin and Adama. What is it like? I probably completely screwed that up, but the my friends, what is it? Like pretty much the Adama theme. Wonder My Friends, a very very Gaelic feeling to it. In Prelude to War is very Japanese. There's Taiku playing in the background. Bear McCreary, who did the music, is a genius. It's just wonderful. And obviously the theme, which I think it's in the UK version, the US version is a lot more militaristic, but the UK version, which in my opinion is vastly superior version, is very very Indian. I don't remember exactly. I think the whole thing is in Sanskrit. It's from like an ancient prayer, which just fits the mythical tone of some of the stuff very well. I don't love everything that's mythical about the new Battlestar Galactica. Some of it doesn't work in my opinion, but the music is just wonderful. But anyway, I do want to watch the original Battlestar Galactica one day probably, and obviously you do see kind of the classic Cylon Raider as well as the classic Colonial Viper a little bit in the rebooted version as well. Adama's museum, without getting into spoilers of what that museum is, as well as some of the later episodes in the season in the hub, you do see the classic Cylon Raider, and while not exactly the same, the Viper Mark II was pretty much very similar to the original Colonial Viper, which is very, very cool touch. But oh wow, it's more than 10, it's almost 11 minutes. That's a lot of talking. So hopefully that wasn't too boring for you. I really love this pair. I would like to get more. I know Hasbro make them, but they're also pretty expensive right now, so I'll see what I can do. But anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Just gonna give it one more rotation. So I'm gonna stop when it reaches like a good looking angle. By the way, I filmed, oh yeah, no, I mentioned that already. This is my second time filming it, so which is why you guys didn't get like a opening package, but that's not really that interesting, right? Alright, that's a good angle. Thank you for watching.